Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Learn Center. I'm Jake, the Customer Success Manager with Nova, and today we're going to be focusing in on Nova's Hotspot feature. The first thing we'll take a look at is uploading our infrared images to create our infrared orthomosaic. Up next, we'll do a deep dive into our hotspot modal. After that, we'll go into our inspector panel where we're going to look at various filters, hotspot appearances, exporting data, and last but not least, how to delete data. So nonetheless, let's jump right in.
When we enter into our project, we'll select Create and then the Hotspot feature. Right away, we can change the name of our hotspot layer if need be. I've put in Hotspot Demo, and below we have Upload Images and Import Hotspot File. I'm going to upload all my infrared images by selecting Folders and Upload. Once uploaded, they're going to be put into staging. All these gray boxes represent a photo that was taken by the drone that's also associated with a white dot that's on your screen from your flight path. Below this, we have the opportunity to add more files or folders based on what we've selected. And before I do anything else, I want to select on Show Overlap. We need to make sure that we have sufficient overlap between all photos, which is represented by the green color in the center, whereas red on the exterior has little overlap, and that's strictly due to the exterior images not having other images to stitch to. When process after uploading is disabled, it allows us to upload to the cloud and import new flight data afterwards to create one big ortho. I'm leaving mine on and I've selected upload. While it's in the upload phase, we always want to leave it be. We don't want to refresh the tab, close our computer, because this is where it's getting sent to the cloud. Once it's done, you're then going to see processing. This is where your IR ortho is being stitched together and collecting all of that hotspot data. When it's complete, we'll select Done, and you'll notice that your hotspot layer has populated on your Layers panel.
That's how easy it is to upload your IR images to generate your infrared orthomosaic. Now let's take a look at the hotspot modal.
After I select on my hotspot layer, I can then select on a hotspot. You'll then see a minimized view where you can see information on the sensitivity, hotspot dimensions, hotspot area, and the coordinate. To see more information, we can select on See Full Details. This will bring you into a large screen view where you can then see that exact hotspot with the red bounding box, as well as the infrared image taken to capture that hotspot. On the left-hand side and the bottom of your infrared image, you'll see the radiometric data validating that that is a hotspot by the steep spikes shown on the graph. Below that, we have hotspot details showcasing the hotspot size. Below that, we have sensitivity. That's based on how well the model can predict that that is a hotspot. If we want to copy a coordinate, we can select on the icon next to hotspot coordinate and send it to field crews on the ground. On the right-hand side of the screen, we can see file details telling us all of the information from that photo. If it turns out to be a false positive, we can select on Remove Hotspot and confirm we want it removed. In the top right-hand corner of our image, we have two arrows. By selecting them, you can go forwards and backwards to see which photos you want, and above that, we have Image Overlay to see that IR image. We can also turn off our field of view, and we can select on Show List to select on hotspots or various images. On the right-hand side of our screen, we have Remove Hotspots and Place Hotspots. We'll go in depth with this while we go over the inspector panel. To exit out of this view, all we have to do is select on the X in the top left-hand corner of your screen.
Now that we've covered everything within the hotspot modal, let's take a look at the inspector panel.
Once we select on our hotspot layer, our inspector panel will appear. The first thing we can do is adjust our name by typing it in, followed by selecting the check mark. Within the Layers tab, we'll then select on the Flight dropdown where we can see our flight path as well as all of the images we've captured for that flight. Below that, we have Overlap, just to make sure our overlap is sufficient. And then we have Scan Area where you can select on Outline for a different color as well as Fill for a different color. Now let's select on the Filters dropdown. The first thing we'll look at is how many hotspots Nova has detected. Underneath that, we have Sensitivity. As you dial it down, you'll notice that Nova will be picking up more hotspots. This is because the model has less confidence in those hotspots. Distance to perimeter allows you to adjust hotspot colors based on their location when a fire perimeter is created. When we adjust the temperature gauge from cool to hot, you'll notice that Nova only shows the hottest hotspots it's detected. It's the same thing with hotspot size as well. As you adjust it up, it will only show you the largest hotspots. Now let's look at the hotspot dropdown. You can see we have various appearances we can choose from. Our default will always be point. If we select on relative size, it'll change from just a point to the relative size of that hotspot. You can also adjust the color by selecting on color and choosing which color you like. Beneath that, we have heat, as you can see on our map, and below heat, we have a hex. Once hex is selected, you can zoom out on your map and hold down right-click with your mouse to move it into a 3D looking view. You can also do it on your keyboard by holding Control and altering your mouse. In the bottom left-hand corner, there's a 3D button. Once selected, you can then see the hex appearance on a 3D map terrain layer. Underneath your hex appearance, there's Flatten. If you didn't want to have those 3D structures, you can select Flatten and you'll notice a flat view over top of your 3D terrain. By selecting on Show Labels, Nova will label every single one of your hotspots from north to south. To place a hotspot manually, we can select on the Place Hotspot button and place it anywhere on a map. When it comes time to remove hotspots, let's say there are false positives, we have a lasso tool so you can select multiple at once and remove them all at the same time. Under Show Labels, there's Show Removed Hotspots. Once the removed hotspots are shown, you'll notice they appear as X's instead of dots on your map. When we toggle on hot areas, Nova will populate them on our map. If we ever want to switch colors, we can select on Outline and choose a color, and select Fill and choose another color. The last thing we'll cover in our Layers tab is the Infrared Ortho Mosaic. When this is toggled on, you'll notice your IR Ortho populate on your map. Below IR Ortho, we have Palette and Opacity. By adjusting the opacity, it'll alter on the map, and if you ever want to change the palette, you can select on it, and it's completely based off of personal preference. Beside the Layers tab, we have the Data tab. This is where we can export various data like flight path, scan area, hotspots, hot areas, and our infrared orthomosaic. Once selected, all we'll have to do is select on Download to download to our hard drive. If you ever want to reflect back on your images, you can select on the View Image button. And below that, we have the amount of files we've uploaded, the usage it's taken up, the date it was created, and the date and time it was processed. If we want to delete our hotspot layer, we can select on the Delete button on the bottom right-hand corner. Now, all we have to do is confirm that we want to delete it, and the hotspot layer will be removed.
That concludes everything for Nova's hotspot feature. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me directly. If not, I hope to see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.